Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching this from. I've decided to do this video. It's not my normal type of video with regards to cybersecurity, but I've decided to do this video because of certain events that have happened over the last couple of months, and basically I need to come out about them. It's not only affected me, but a number of other people in our industry, this problem needs to be highlighted, and the individuals who are perpetrating this ongoing vendetta need to be known about in our industry and avoided at all costs. So I'm just going to read something really quick as preamble to this. Actually, I want to read a couple of things and just to give you some context of what this is going to be about. So initially, on the Crown Prosecution Service website, you can find information about what is classed as illegal activities with regards to IT. Ranges from hacking and malware and grooming and all that kind of nasty stuff, but it also includes elements around social media, namely trolling. And specifically, reading from the website, trolling is a form of baiting online which involves sending abusive and hurtful comments across all social media platforms. This can be prosecuted under the Malicious Communications Act of 1988 and the Communications Act of 2003. It is an illegal activity to troll someone online. Additionally to that, online harassment. Online harassment can include repeated attempts to impose unwanted communications or contact in a manner that could be expected to cause distress or fear. And lastly, out of this online list, virtual mobbing. Virtual mobbing takes place when a number of individuals use social media or messaging to make communications to or about another individual, usually because they are opposed to that person's opinion. The volume of messages may amount to a campaign of harassment. So I'm going to also add in here at this point two more topical points, three more points actually. Slander, defamation, and doxing. Okay. Slander is the action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation, or to make false and damaging statements about an individual. I'm going to say that that's written or verbal, and if it's written, it's probably worse than verbal because there's actual evidence to back that up. Defamation is the term basically the statement reads as the term defamation describes a statement that causes harm to the character of the person or organization it concerns. Importantly, such statements can cause a business or individual to start legal proceedings. Defamation can often be confused with libel and slander. But again, it's all about taking the individual's reputation and attempting to ruin it. Lastly, doxing. The action or process of searching for and publishing private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. Now, in this video, I am not going to be doxing. I'm not going to be sharing my opinion, and I will not be outing other people. There is specifically two people in this industry that I'm going to be outing in this. Anybody else who wishes to comment, curate, or do whatever they'd like is up to them. This is my story based upon the evidence that I've gathered. So, as many people know, I am a 20+ year veteran in cybersecurity. I've been doing this a long time. I have multiple relationships across the industry with vendors, MSSPs, other service providers, partners, clients, and further professionals within the cybersecurity industry and IT industry as a whole. I pride myself on having spent a long time building up my knowledge. I spend a long time paying attention to what my technical lead consultants have been doing in their assessments with regards to pen testing, red teaming, social engineering, and all the rest of the topics that I feel I should know about in order to do my job appropriately and be able to advise my clients on the things that they should be. Recently, I've had the pleasure of being invited in to do a talk on red teaming from a physical social engineering perspective, and it's been absolutely fantastic having that opportunity. However, it's been extremely badly overshadowed by two individuals in this industry, namely Amy Stokes-Waters and Shaun Wharton. I'm going to go into some detail about this. And again, I won't be sharing any information about where these people live or any personal details about them, but things to look out for are, like I say, Amy Stokes-Waters, Shaun Wharton, these two individuals here who run under multiple pseudonyms across multiple platforms, along with having SOC accounts, which, as you can see from this screenshot, Amy takes great pleasure in utilizing to harass other people in our industry. I'd be very mindful of connecting to new accounts that are reaching out to you, particularly in this day and age where people can use AI to create fake accounts, use "this person does not exist" as a face to their profile. So just be mindful, pay attention, have a look at the image. If it doesn't look quite right, don't connect to it. It's likely to be a SOC account, and you are likely to get a harassment, some harassment put upon you. I just want to say as well, the allegations that were made against me are vile and unwarranted. I am a big supporter of mental health out in the industry, as many of you know. I'm also a big supporter of feminism in our industry and equal rights and equal opportunities for women. I'm also very aware that there are circumstances that women find themselves in where they are the victims, and we should listen to their stories. The investigation should be carried out, and due course and due evidence be gathered on individuals who are assaulting women, who are, terrorizing, whatever the case might be. So on that note, basically the crux of it was that over the last year, it would appear that Amy Stokes-Waters and Shaun Wharton have been on a vendetta. This goes across multiple people in the industry, but specifically has been aimed at me over the last couple of months, with regards to an incident that occurred last year at a company night out where words were had and disagreements were had, and it was at that point that Amy Stokes-Waters had decided to start publishing the idea that I had assaulted her. We were very drunk on the night out. We'd all had a fair few to drink. We were all having a good time. Amy had approached me at the bar and asked if she could buy me a drink because we hadn't been talking for a while. And I told her in no uncertain terms that I disliked her and that she should basically remove herself from my company. I obviously used different words to that based on the fact that we had all had been drinking and best judgment was potentially out the window, but nothing more than that. She then promptly left with Shaun, and the night went on, quite as easy as that. The next day I found out that she'd obviously been straight in touch with our employer and was filing a grievance for what I'd said and the approach that I had taken. We went through a lengthy HR experience. We We had interviews with a HR candidate from outside the company. We went through that whole entire process. I came forward and did apologize for the way I'd come across. Again, we had all been drinking, and maybe I'd been a little bit more aggressive than I should have been in the language and posture that I'd posed. But to be fair, with everything that had been going on over the last few months on the lead up to it, I don't think anybody would be quite surprised for the language that was potentially used. Obviously, there was no physical contact, and there are witnesses at the event that were literally stood next to us who can attest to that. So the HR interview went on. We finished off. Amy then decided to make a statement, which was that she'd been through that same process several times before, and my apology, or the apology of others, was the best result that she'd ever had from any of those circumstances, which makes me think that there had been other people that had potentially been in the same seat as me in years gone by, which is quite scary that potentially there are other people out there that we aren't aware of that have also been through this scenario. Rewind the clock forward now to SteelCon, and having gone through the HR incident and had the net result of that, believing that everything had been completed, finished, everything was done with, I was very, very surprised to find out that Amy had been walking around SteelCon stating that I'd punched her. And whether that was Amy or whether that was Shaun, I'm not quite sure, but the two of them definitely feed upon each other and are both spreading malicious rumours. I was quite upset by that. They didn't stay for the evening do, which is probably not a bad thing, because I think I would have confronted them at that point. We wound the clock forward the end further to the International Cyber Expo back end of last year, and having been there for the 2 days of the event, at the end of the second day, a rumor again started spreading that yet again I had punched her. I found out who it was that had heard the rumor, and again, because of what we do in cybersecurity, it's our job to investigate things and ask questions of people. So I found out through the chain who it was that had heard this rumor, went and spoke to them, and found out that it was Amy Stokes-Waters yet again, been saying the same thing. I'm not somebody who shies away, as most of you will know. I am, but I'm not confrontational either, nor am I aggressive in my nature. But I thought that it would be the best course of action at that point in time, based on the fact that there had been 2 incidences then last year about this happening, to try and nip it in the bud myself. So I gave Amy a call. We spoke on the phone, and at the end of the call, it was agreed that basically neither of us were going to be friends. Neither of us were probably going to work together ever again. And yet we were still going to be in the same industry. We were going to go to these conferences and, being amicable and courteous with each other. There would be nothing wrong with just saying hello and how you're getting on and leaving it at that, basically. That was basically the last time I had any interaction with Amy Stokes-Waters or Shaun Wharton. And then a couple of months ago, there was an event raised that we're calling for papers. Because of the work that I do at Yorkshire Cybersecurity Cluster, one of the representatives there had suggested I submit a paper, which I did, and it was accepted and agreed upon, which was absolutely fantastic. It's one of the first opportunities I've had to talk in public. I've done online things, and I've hosted some events, but not to the scale of this one. At the point that I was accepted and moved forward, I put a post out on LinkedIn, and that's where this all basically started. I'm just going to put it out there as well, for anybody who would like to argue that Discord is a private server. It's not a private server if people are still accessing it today. If new members are logging in and accessing your Discord at any given time, your Discord is public. Not only that, but over the time that your Discord has been running, people have, from our industry, accessed it and still got access to it. So therefore, when you start doing screenshots and saying things such as, it becomes very, very apparent who it's about because of the screenshots. And also it very much evolves and spills over into other social media platforms. People from our industry who are in third-party platforms such as LinkedIn quickly find out about what's going on and then come and have a look at your Discord because they're in your Discord. The fact of the matter is that certain things were also said over LinkedIn, and this prompted people to go and investigate and gain access to your Discord, and therefore put one and one together. This was in a direct attempt to ruin my reputation in this industry. Again, I come back to the fact that, if women are being abused and there is an element of evidence, whether it's personal injury, whether it's prior notice, prior assault notifications to the police, and the police be involved in things, or whether the individual that's done the assaulting, their character can get investigated and people can see what they're like as an individual. They might have prior for that kind of thing, or have a violent streak or violent tendencies or whatever the case might be. But there is always a line of evidence that can be put together. The vendetta that has been against me over the last month by not only Amy Stokes-Waters and Shaun Wharton, but by a lot of other people that you can see from these screenshots that have been on that Discord and have been saying these vile things without even the tiniest amount, modicum of truth about it, nor are these people questioning it. No, they're not questioning whether there's any evidence. There's not questions about what the truth is, why it happened, who was involved. Let's take an individual's word for it, because that always works out in the end. It's quite sickening to see that this Discord has been the toxic environment that it actually is. And the people that are in there, just to say again, we work in cybersecurity. Our job is to do OSINT. Our job is to do investigations into organizations and individuals within those organizations. That skill set can also be taken to go and have a look at people's Discords, view their profiles, and figure out exactly who it is that's saying these things. Not only that, but we are a close-knit, small industry. We all have worked with each other, or have moved around with each other, or been at conferences with each other, and therefore know each other. And when the OSINT doesn't work, when we're trying to find somebody's profile, 9 out of 10 times, we can phone a friend and they'll know who that person is. So there's no hiding behind pseudonyms. There's no hiding when you're saying things that you're saying. Every single person that's in that Discord is also, when you've been commenting as you have, as guilty as Shaun and Amy. The problem with that is that most of these people that are in this Discord are students or new to cyber, and they're looking to Shaun and Amy as mentors in this industry. And it's sickening to think that the mentor that they have is going to be the one that's sitting out there going, yes, and this is what we do to people when we don't like them. This is what we say about people, and this is how we approach issues in our industry. The cancellation culture that we're all supposedly in right now is absolutely disgusting. It's sickening to me. I've had to fight with every fiber in my being to not post something up until this point. I was asked specifically by the organizers of the event not to post anything until post the event, because I didn't want the backlash and the burn. There was attempts to boycott the event. The event was well presented and well received and well visited. The attempts that you made to try and have that event cancelled made no jot of difference. The other thing as well is I work very much with the Yorkshire Cybersecurity Cluster. I do a lot of work with their steering committee. We've done a lot of good work with the industry, with colleges, with education bodies. Our event has hopefully helped a lot of people understand what cyber is all about, and we are spreading the word. And yet I've been trying. Amy Stokes-Waters has attempted to have me cancelled from that as well, based on the fact that I don't or should not represent Yorkshire Cybersecurity Cluster. It's been extremely upsetting. I make no bones about it. I have had extreme lows, to the point of depression. And for somebody who is usually as outgoing and loud and fun-loving as I am, to end up being at such a low that I've now had to be on medication to try and help me process things is an extremely sad state of affairs. Again, particularly because I back the mental health argument as much as I do. And yet I've had people come into my life for free that have caused me countless amounts of hours, cost me time, cost me money. I had to do a cease and desist letter because it was ongoing continuously. I had to pay for that. I had to pay for that out of my pocket. And then recently, somebody's mentioned them online, and they've sent the same cease and desist letter to these two individuals. It's disgusting. It's criminal. You're supposed to be representing cybersecurity. Security. You're supposed to have morals and ethics. It's disgusting. It's absolutely horrific what has been done to myself and to other people in this industry. The count so far, the body count so far, when it was tallied up, was 18 people. 18 people. Amy Stokes-Waters has been in the industry, cybersecurity industry, for 2 years. It's an average of one person a month that has fallen on her bad side because either they've said something flippant, said something inappropriate, said something she didn't agree with, or didn't do something that she'd asked, or she didn't provide her with something that she needed, and therefore she targeted them. The manipulation of individuals in our industry as well, where she's called them friends and then tried to use that card to manipulate the industry into doing what she wills. Now, I'm very, very grateful. I'm extremely grateful. The gratitude is of a level I can't actually express. For the people that have been in the industry, one, that have supported me through this, that have come to check if I'm okay, and also to the event organizers for the event recently that didn't cancel me. And once they didn't cancel me, were also put in the firing line, and therefore immediately understood that she's not a friend, she's not a nice person, that she's narcissistic and vindictive and all the rest of it. And I'm really hoping that this message goes out to the industry, goes out to the world, to avoid Amy Stokes-Waters and Shaun Wharton. Make your own opinion about them based upon your experience with them. But when it goes sour, I told you so. I have to be very careful because I'm quite concerned that potentially there's going to be legal recourse against this. I'm not saying that people shouldn't necessarily work with them. I'm just saying my experience is what it was. And that I'm absolutely disgusted that people like this exist in our industry. And that there's nothing that we can do about it either. We have a couple of organizations that say they're here to help and do not have the ability from a legal perspective or from a financial perspective to have the teeth to be able to go out to the industry and stop people like this. Maybe that's where we're failing. I feel like it's few and far between, but when they do come out, they do a lot of damage, particularly because this is a small industry. We know each other. We know you. We know who you are and what you've been saying. And we're not impressed. We're not impressed.